Hello everyone, welcome to the KZGN News. Today we're bringing news of more proposed anti-gun laws in California, City Council news, new polls coming out, today's KZGN Talking Points editorial, weather, sports, and much more.
From the Rademacher Hills to Bee Mountain and the mighty Sierras, Ridgecrest to Inyokern and China Lake, this is your news for the Indian Wells Valley with the KZGN News crew.
Hello, I'm Tom Whitnick. Thanks for joining us for the news affecting Ridgecrest and the Indian Wells Valley. From Sacramento, we get news of more proposed anti-gun laws in California. Tuesday morning at 9:30 a.m., the California Assembly Public Safety Committee started consideration of a number of anti-gun bills, including AB 1663, 1664, 1673, and 1674. Here's a brief description of each bill. AB 1663 would expand the current definition of assault weapon to include any semi-automatic firearm capable of accepting a detachable magazine. AB 1664 would ban the use of a bullet button, which requires a tool to be used in order to remove the magazine from a firearm. AB 1663 and AB 1664 would unjustifiably ban the future sale of many modern sporting rifles commonly used for hunting, firearms training, including hunter safety training and marksmanship practice. AB 1673 would redefine firearm in the California State Code to include any unfinished receiver or frame that can readily be converted to a functional frame or receiver. The problem with this proposed language is that it could potentially include a simple block of metal. AB 1674 would expand on California's one handgun per month law to prohibit the acquisition of more than one firearm per month, including both handguns and long guns. The committee members need to hear from you. Please contact the members of the Committee on Public Safety and respectfully urge them to vote no on AB 1663, 64, 1673, and 1674. The committee is made up of 5 Democrats and 2 Republicans. The committee chair is Bill Quirk. He can be reached at 916-319-2020. If you want to contact all the members of the committee, you can go to their website at the California Assembly. This web address includes all the email addresses for all the members. Well, Wednesday, the Ridgecrest City Council will hold their first meeting of March. Here's a preview of the agenda. First, they'll do a presentation of Employee Service Awards. Then, they'll receive a presentation by the Ridgecrest Area Convention and Visitors Bureau of the annual Petroglyph Festival and get an annual financial report. Items for approval on the consent calendar include approving compensation plans for mid-management and confidential unrepresented groups of employees. Next, the Council will consider adopting a change order in the amount of $38,000 with Willdan Engineering for additional design, right-of-way, and easement acquisition services on the Down Street widening project. And then the Council will consider adopting an agreement with Willdan Engineering to provide construction management in the amount of $51,000 for the installation of a traffic signal at the intersection of China Lake Boulevard and Bowman Road. Next, the Council will consider adopting a new 2016 City of Ridgecrest federal drug and alcohol testing policies and guidelines for the city. Next, they'll consider adopting a resolution authorizing submittal of an application for a payment of a grant for the fiscal year 2015-16 for almost $8,000. The grant is to be specifically used for beverage container recycling and litter cleanup activities. Next on the agenda, the Council will consider approving a contract change in the amount of $9,000 with JTS Construction for the Kerr-McGee Restroom Concession Project. And finally, on the consent calendar, the Council will consider approving the purchase and installation of sliding and electric entrance doors required at Penny Pool in the amount of $9,500. It will be great for handicap access. The next part of the agenda is for public hearings. First, the Council will hold a public hearing and then approve a resolution establishing a finding for unmet transit needs that are reasonable to meet with the public transportation system. And the final segment of the meeting is for discussion and other action items. These are often the most important items on the agenda. First, the Council will have a discussion of the grand jury final report concerning the City of Ridgecrest and Joint Powers Authorities. And the final item on the agenda is a discussion of vendor advertisements on military banners. So that's what's on the agenda for Wednesday evening. If you have any comment on these items, come to the meeting at 6 o'clock in Ridgecrest City Hall. Well, today is Super Tuesday. No results are in yet, but they'll be coming in real soon now. A whole bunch of polls came out Monday. Super Tuesday could further shrink the candidate pool. As of the current polls, Trump is leading by respectable margins in Georgia, Massachusetts, Vermont, North Carolina, Michigan, Illinois, West Virginia, and Ohio, even beating Kasich in his home state. Cruz shows a 1-point lead in New Mexico, and Texas, his home state. On the Democrat side, Clinton is leading all states except West Virginia and Vermont, which is Sanders' home state. Sanders and Clinton are also tied in Massachusetts. Sanders yesterday vowed to fight on. But for the Republicans, Texas is the biggest prize available. The polls are showing a closing of the lead of Cruz over Trump. Texas is important for two reasons. First, it is Cruz's home state. No one wants to get beat in their home state. Second, there are a lot of delegates available, so everyone wants to gain those delegates. Pundits are already saying that if Cruz loses Texas, his home state, then he is just about done. Anyway, we are about to see how accurate the polls are for Super Tuesday. The results will start coming in real soon. By tomorrow, we may see a whole new race, and maybe even a narrowing of the Republican field. Please stay with us. After the break, we'll have the 122nd KZGN News Talking Points editorial. Thanks for staying with us. Now it's time for the 122nd KZGN News Talking Points editorial. Here's today's topic. Why are there more anti-gun laws proposed in California? Well, as I reported earlier in tonight's news segment, Monday I received word of the proposed new laws that were going to start to be heard by the California Public Safety Committee. The hearings were to start Tuesday morning. I encourage everyone with an opinion on this to get hold of the individual committee members as soon as possible to let them know what you think. The more they hear, the more chance we have to stop these laws. Also, even though these are not passed laws yet, you can let Governor Brown know that these laws are not supported by the majority of the people in California. Anyway, Tuesday morning at 9:30 a.m., the California Assembly Public Safety Committee started consideration of a number of anti-gun bills, including AB 1663, 1664, 1673, and 1674. Here's a brief description of each bill. AB 1663 would expand the current definition of assault weapon to include any semi-automatic firearm capable of accepting a detachable magazine. This would ban hundreds of firearms in California. The real problem is the continued effort to use incorrectly the term assault weapon. To non-gun owners, an assault weapon is any gun that looks like a gun used by the military. Truth of the matter is, these supposed assault weapons are not assault weapons. But that's another topic not necessary to discuss right now. But there are literally hundreds of guns that have detachable magazines. If this law passes, it would virtually send firearms ownership back 100 years. This would be a tragic infringement on the people's right to own firearms. Will the ban have grandfather protections? There are millions of these guns already in California. What happens to all the existing guns? Next, AB 1664 would ban the use of a bullet button, which requires a tool to be used in order to remove a magazine from the firearm. This was a method the industry came up with to modify assault weapons, again, the term that is used incorrectly, but used nevertheless. That changed a rifle that has a detachable magazine to one that still has a detachable magazine, but a tool is needed to change the magazine out. So it can't be rapidly changed and reloaded. So this law makes the conversion illegal. AB 1663 and 64 would unjustifiably ban the future sale of many modern sporting rifles commonly used for hunting, firearms training, including hunter safety training and marksmanship practice. AB 1663 will require the registration of any semi-automatic firearm without a fixed magazine, owned previously to this law, to be registered as an assault weapon. And AB 1664 would change the definition of a detachable magazine as to one that can also be removed with a tool. AB 1673 would redefine firearms in California State Code to include any unfinished receiver or frame that can readily be converted to a functional frame or receiver. The problem with this proposed language is it could potentially include a simple block of metal. This law stems from that manufacturers started selling receivers that can be completed into a functioning gun. They were called 80% receivers. This is one where the receiver could be finished by a private person into a firearm. The reason the law isn't necessary is because there are already federal laws governing this situation. Federal law requires that any person that manufactures a firearm that they must assign it a serial number and notify the ATF of the firearm. It then becomes controlled in the same manner as any firearm. All the state needs to do is enforce the federal law already on the books. No California law is required. The final proposed law is AB 1674. This is a major problem. This law would expand on California's one handgun per month law to prohibit the acquisition of more than one firearm per month, including both handguns and long guns. Currently, people are only allowed to buy one handgun per month. This new law would extend it to long guns, that's rifles and shotguns. The exception to the current law is a private party transfer sale, or called a PPT. A PPT is when a private person sells a gun to another private person. The law requires all gun sales, including PPTs, to be transferred through a licensed firearms dealer. So even though it is called a private sale, it really isn't. It is still a sale that the purchaser has to be put through a background check before the gun is turned over. And as a side note, there's a lot of people, as a side note, there's a lot of talk about people being able to buy guns without background checks. That does not apply to California. In California, all gun sales must be transferred through a licensed dealer. No one can sell person to person without going through a background check. However, the current law does not limit PPT types of purchases to one per month. Only dealer sales are limited to one per month. So if private party people started selling multiple guns in a month period, this is currently legal. And the practice hasn't been traced to cause any legal problems for the justice system. Again, the current law only applies to handguns. This new law will now apply to long guns and get rid of the private party exemption of the 1 per 30-day period. As a gun dealer, I get multiple estate sales per year. I also have many people that just normally cycle through the guns they own by selling off currently owned guns and buying new ones. Limiting guns to one per month will impose restrictions that will do nothing. The committee is made up of 5 Democrats and 2 Republicans. The committee members need to hear from you. Please contact the members of the Committee on Public Safety and respectfully urge them to vote no on AB 1663, 64, 1673, and 74. The committee chair is Bill Quirk. He can be reached at 916-319-2020, or you can contact all the committee members by going to their website. This web address includes all the email addresses for the members as well. It's clear that the only purpose to any of these proposed laws is only to put further restrictions on our Second Amendment rights. Oh, but don't worry, the criminals will follow the law for sure. In the future, they'll only steal 1 gun per month. Sarcasm noted, I hope. These new laws will do nothing to stem gun violence. They need to take up the mental health issue. This is what they need to take up to keep guns out of the hands of those that are mentally unstable. This is a law that could make a difference in gun violence. Not stupid laws like redefining guns that have existed for over 100 years as now being an assault weapon. And just for the record, no one can already legally own a real assault weapon in California without a special permit. So all these news reports of people owning assault weapons is a misnomer. 99% of the guns the media refers to as assault weapons are not even assault weapons. And Sacramento is doing the same thing, classifying guns as assault weapons that are not assault weapons. The legal definition of an assault weapon is a military term referring to a medium caliber, shoulder-fired rifle that allows the shooter to select between semi-automatic mode and either fully automatic or 3-shot burst mode. Because assault weapons, as defined by state and federal law, can fire in neither fully automatic mode nor 3-shot burst mode, They are not assault rifles. But then, when has Sacramento or the anti-gun lobby ever tried to be honest with the people? By attaching the term assault weapon to a gun that is not an assault weapon, they broaden their capability to ban more guns. Piece by piece, nibbling away at our rights as law-abiding citizens. This dishonesty is despicable, and our lies to get a total ban on guns any way they have to. Again, contact the Public Safety Committee members now. These laws need to be stopped in the committee before they reach the floor of the legislature for consideration. Just Google search California Public Safety Committee. All the committee member information will come up. In conclusion, these laws will do nothing to provide any new protections from gun violence, only to limit the right of gun ownership by law-abiding people. Call Sacramento now. Don't sit on your hands. Respectfully tell them to stop this nonsense. Tell them to take up the mental competence issue relating to gun ownership instead. I'm Tom Whitnick, and that's what I think. I'd like to know what you think. If you have any comments about this editorial or would like to discuss or recommend a topic, I'd like to hear from you. Please email them to info@kzgn.net. Now stay with us. After the break, we'll have weather and sports. Thanks for staying with us. Now here's Lane with the weather.
Thank you, Tom. From the National Weather Service, snow, colder temperatures, and gusty winds will impact the northern plains, upper Midwest, Great Lakes states, and Northeast over the next couple of days. Strong thunderstorms are possible in the Central Plains. In the Pacific Northwest and Northern Rockies, mountain snow and valley rain are expected. Temperatures across the nation. Carolinas at 66, Georgia at 69, Arkansas at 58, northern Texas at 60, Arizona at 82, and Los Angeles at 64. And for us locally, tonight mostly clear with a low around 43, southwest wind 10 miles per hour. Wednesday, sunny with a high near 79, southwest wind 5 miles per hour. Wednesday night, mostly clear with a low around 45, west wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Thursday, mostly sunny with a high near 76, southwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Thursday night, partly cloudy with a low around 42, west-southwest wind 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts as high as 25. Friday, mostly sunny with a high near 74, north-northwest wind 5 miles per hour. Friday night, mostly cloudy with a low around 43, west-southwest wind 10 to 20 miles per hour. And Saturday, partly sunny with a high near 74, west-southwest wind 5 miles per hour. And that is your forecast for the IWV. Now back to Tom.
Thanks, Lane. And now here's Tom Heck with sports.
And a very pleasant Tuesday afternoon to everyone. Let's start with a local sports note. This afternoon, Saracosa will take on San Bernardino Valley College in San Bernardino. That'll be their second conference game of the season. That game today in the afternoon at 3 o'clock over in San Bernardino. Coastal will be on the road again Thursday. They'll take on College of the Desert out in Palm Desert. They'll be off this weekend, then they'll be on the road again Tuesday. They'll go down to Whittier to play Rio Hondo, and then back here on the 10th of Thursday of March, they will take on Victor Valley College at 2 o'clock. That game will be on both radio and internet. And then on Saturday, they will be home again. That game will be a night game, the only night game of the season. They'll play Barstow at 6 o'clock. This afternoon, over at Trona, there is softball going on. The Tornadoes are hosting Mojave, and Emmanuel Christian also is playing softball this afternoon over at Saracosa College against a team from the Victor Valley area. All right, college basketball last night, number 2 Kansas all over Texas, 86-56. Now Texas had just beaten Oklahoma, the number 3 team in all the land, on Saturday. Boy, what a difference a few hours makes. Kansas right now, number 2 in all the land. Iowa State beat Oklahoma State last night, and North Carolina beat Syracuse 75-70. Pac-12 starting to really get interesting. Now, how many teams from the Pac-12 will go to the NCAA tournament? That's the mystery. I think that tournament in 2 weeks in Las Vegas now used to be over at Staples, a Pac-12 tournament. They've moved it to Vegas, and that's going to determine who will probably get in and who won't get in from the Pac-12. Over the weekend, Oregon beat Washington, Stanford and Cal both beat USC. That might hurt the Trojans' chances. Also, both teams swept UCLA. The Bruins probably looking at an NIT bid. No NCAA tournament for them this year. And then the University of Arizona, who was 9 in all the land, loses to Utah and Colorado. If that doesn't complicate things, Arizona State, we know, is out. They're going to need to win the tournament to get into the NCAA tournament. Arizona State was beaten badly by both Utah and Colorado. So it's going to get interesting. Washington probably has a very good chance to get in the NCAA tournament. They also, on a given night, could win that Pac-12 tournament. Arizona, probably the favorite, or maybe Oregon is your favorite. And then if you're up in the Bay Area, you say, no. Cal and Stanford right now are playing really well. They could be the favorite to win that tournament. It's going to be a lot of fun for basketball fans. A lot of teams can win that tournament, and really a lot on the line. This is the last regular weekend coming up. UCLA-USC will be hosting the Washington Schools. Okay, let's talk about the NBA real quick. The Clippers beat Brooklyn 105-95. The Clippers right now in a good spot playoff-wise. They would probably, if it ended today, get a first-round home court advantage. Milwaukee beats Houston last night in Houston. Boy, Houston just tumbling. Boston over Utah, 195. Boston improved this year. Washington now 4 wins in a row. They beat Philadelphia. Sixers now have lost 9 games in a row. And Oklahoma City beats Sacramento up in Sacramento. Now, let's talk about Stephen Curry right now. Tweaked his ankle the other night. Golden State's supposed to play tonight against Atlanta in Atlanta. But I don't think Curry's going to be able to go. If he doesn't go, only the second game he's missed all season. Golden State only has lost 5 games all season. They're 55-5. That's incredible. That's your sports for this Tuesday. I'm Tom Heck for KZGN.
So that's the news for today. Also, KZGN-TV know you have a choice in what you watch for your news. We all thank you for choosing KZGN-TV, Ridgecrest's only locally owned community TV station. Now stay tuned for Ridgecrest Talk coming up next.